ho, ho. Merry whatever. It's a good time. We're here
Oh, you're muddy. You're super muddy.
Oh, am I muddy? Am I
It's
muddy?
gone now.
down.
Yeah.
It's
I
going
don't know
down.
why it happened there.
Oh, well,
You're-
let's try that
you're good.
again.
It's
Hey,
North
everybody.
Pole interference.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Merry. We are X's for Show, and we are here to play some games, have a good time, and recover from my sister's wassail. Wassail, a holiday punch.
Punch.
So,
Wait, like eggnog?
no, my sister is amazing in so many ways. She's so cool. And one of the things about her is she can consume as much alcohol as a Hummer can burn gas. And so she like equal parts everything else vodka. And so like it's everything else is one part and then one part vodka. And it was
So it's like eggnog. It's a you meant like a I thought I wasn't sure if it was like a punching tradition.
well,
where you,
it's like
No, yeah.
cranberry and orange juice. There's no eggnog of it.
No, I just meant it's a drink. It's not. It's a. It's
Have you
not
met Julia? Because I believe she has a punching tradition.
Yeah, that's I would have
Yeah.
I would have found that plausible.
Did we say our
Exactly.
names yet?
Yeah.
No, it's fine.
He didn't. Yeah, you got to go and I got to go.
I'm TK.
And I'm your producer, KEVO. And Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmaka, and happy whatever else you celebrate. We love hanging out with you guys, so we hope you decide to come hang out with us tonight. Like, subscribe, and comment so that we know what you would like us to cover in the future. I think we're just going to be shooting the breeze, as it were.
And there's like a lot of reasons for that. This year marked a lot of I guess like thought-provoking transformation for me. One of the things that like I keep having a problem with, and like I don't know how many of you, but like I'll put my vape down somewhere and then I'll lose it, and then a day or two later I'm like, well, now I have two vapes when I find that one and the one, and I feel like this entire year has been finding a vape the next day. And so like I don't know about you guys, but I am just legitimately like overwhelmed by the amount of like stuff that happened at the end of this year. Like I feel like Rivals coming out properly in December, or was it just the very, very end of November?
No, it's December.
Yeah, Rivals properly coming out in December. Between like that and like the Tori album, Tori Amos dropping in December, and a couple of Wicked coming out in December, right, or end of November. Like a lot of the biggest shit of this year happened now.
Yes, and that sometimes can be a little overwhelming.
And I get really frustrated when that happens. It's like Avatar being the biggest movie of any year it was the biggest movie of, specifically because like it comes out, they come out in winter. I don't like when big movies come out in winter like that. It throws off my whole groove and really feeds into that whole television spectrum. The year is September to May and nothing happens over summer bullshit.
Except when you make what happened over summer a multi-episode mystery reveal.
Or it's that movie, like The X-Files.
I don't know. I like when stuff releases in winter, just because I was looking the other day at some of my like release weeks for music, and especially for like pop music and singles, this is the time of year where it gets really grim. And they're just not a lot of great songs come out now. And so I always appreciate when an artist, takes the risk and does music in December. And same thing, like, I appreciate when movies do the same thing. Sometimes when a lot of it happens all at once in the winter, it feels really overwhelming in a way that like in the summer, it does not. I don't know quite what that's about.
I can tell you what that is about.
Tell me.
When morning is dark, do you know what it just means? It just means that you're up early. But when it's dark out early, it means that somebody ate the sun. And so when it's summer and there's too much stuff, you go through too much stuff at like 6:30 a.m., you're fucking fine. Because it's 8:15 before you're out of new stuff time. It's like winter. I feel like I have to get all my new stuff in by 3:30.
You're going a little bit muddy toward the end there, but I followed most of the gist of it. It's like we were talking about earlier, where you were saying, it turns out in California, everyone just, suck each other's dicks all the time. And I was like, yeah, because it's so warm out there. We are all cold at least half the year out here on the East Coast. So,
yeah, and like, I don't know, I enjoy all media in the winter as well, of course, and I really do appreciate when artists release stuff so that it is not just like a totally miserable time. But I do notice like it also is a risk of like, I don't know, in June you can put out basically any pop song and I will go walk around in the warm weather in a pair of shorts and get a iced coffee to it and be very happy. You have to release a real epic banger in December for it to go on my frigid, miserable, layered walk playlist and for that to give me energy.
And that's what has me even more annoyed about Captain America, Bravest Soldier in the World in February, because like I already am loath to drag myself to the theaters at all. I am not super stoked to drag myself to theaters for this film. I really don't want to do it in February.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel oppressed by the idea. So like my birthday, February, it's there. It's when it goes. I can't do anything about that. But like one of the things is that means that is just like when my birthday parties were growing up. They were in the fucking snow. And they always just had their snow stuff going for them. And like part of why that's like worth remembering is like it does kind of shape your experience. Like all three of us are winter birth babies. KEVO in December, TK and I beginning of February. And so compared with like Jonah, whose birthday is spring, maybe Jonah had a rained out birthday, but he's from the
probably
Northeast.
Not.
Yeah, he's from the Northeast. He probably had an okay April. But it's a little different when your birthday is a cold, miserable time of the year. I cannot tell you how many birthday parties I had over the years get snowed out.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like, and it's one of those things where like I reconnected with a childhood friend on Blue Sky, and that's really cool because she's stupid cool. But like, I remember one birthday party, like everybody was not going to come because there was snow. And Issa's mom was like, that's stupid. So what? His birthday's in February. And Issa's mom like drove through Sayreville picking people up to bring them to my birthday party. This is like sophomore year of high school. This was like a big deal. And so like, knowing that like I'm going to have to go see this Captain America movie in the winter, first of all, I don't know about you guys, but 2025 is not the year of my personal high patriotism. Secondly, I do not see myself feeling super different about that aesthetic scheme in February. So no, I don't really want to go see this.
It is pretty funny that we're going to be watching a movie where the president turns into a giant red monster.
And it's a character we thought we had gotten rid of previously.
Do we think we gotten rid of Red Hulk?
No, we thought we'd gotten rid of Thunderbolt when he stopped appearing, and then the actor died.
Right.
I kind of assumed, after
Black
we probably
could have let that go. I'm sorry. I just got a MVP once again not because I'm good, but because I played 2,000 hours of Splatoon.
Okay, I can MVP
Jeff.
Jeff. I can MVP Jeff. I can't really MVP. Do you remember the time I sent him the screenshot of my best ever fucking numbers as soon as they happened. It was like 19 KOs. I think I died 6 times. I had like 5 assists. My accuracy was like 33%. I was the happiest dude you've ever met. And in that screenshot of my best, somebody else has like 36 KOs and like one death. Like, what's the point?
Yeah, that's always a disappointing feeling when you're like, I gotta catch this one. I was so good, and then you look at your team and you were the weak link.
Oh my god.
You guys still have not watched any What If, yeah?
No.
No.
Have you?
Yeah. I've watched all of them now. I really loved 3 and 4. I really did not enjoy 1 and 2.
The reviews I
Interesting.
saw said that the season sort of spends its capital by the midway point. So it tracks that 3 and 4 were really good because the reviews in advance said they would be.
I'm disappointed to hear you didn't like 1. That's the mecha one, right?
It feels really silly. I mean, immediately, I love the idea of Avengers mechs, but the idea that the Avengers pilot their mechs when, like, Moon Knight is not a pilot,
Yeah.
makes no sense to me. Monica Rambeau, while maybe not designed for size-based combat, is insanely powerful in and of herself.
Yeah, she could fight a mech better than a mech could help
right
her.
So like I got what they were, so it is, you know, it's both a kaiju and a Power Rangers reference, and it's not, I don't know, I didn't, the fact that the very kaiju'd out Hulk that they get ends up really looking like a Godzilla clone, the way this game is an Overwatch clone, as in, like, you can map things 1-to-1 all over it, is a little weird. I like the concept of the Avenger mechs. I would have been down for those. I would have just, I don't know, the writing is just really weird. It's not, especially of those first 2 episodes. It doesn't feel like it's about telling what if stories. It feels like it's about cross promotion,
which is
interesting.
I don't understand when, like, okay, so that is where I'm not. What if is not for me in the first place in a lot of ways. What if
our comic what ifs for you?
Yeah, well, about to say, what if the comic is for me? Because
that's how we got Mayday.
Yeah, the quality and the cost of creating a casual what if comic is 1 month in a calendar year, which will, I don't know, a year at Marvel will see 400 titles released. One of them being this what if. Even a run of what ifs. 12 of them being what ifs. 20 even. 20 out of 400 is 1/20th of the complete release schedule at Marvel. When What If is one of your 3 TV shows.
Fascinating. Yeah, you're totally right.
I can't learn more from who my characters are not than I can from who they are. So when you're making the weight so unequal, I can't understand how that's one story mind.
Okay. Yeah. That especially I can follow.
Yep. That's a fantastic point that I absolutely do get. Yeah, there is also just there's a lot of weird language that makes it feel very like this is about selling other stuff. This is about selling Marvel products rather than, you know, being about telling stories.
Do you remember those Eternals? Do you remember them? Please, do you remember? And or the Inhumans? Do you Eternal Huma Turtles? Huma Turtles? Do you guys love the Huma Turtles?
Well, and like, I don't know, the Agatha one really feels more. Yeah, the Agatha one really feels like it's about reminding you about 2 properties. I mean, I maybe they sort of planned on Agatha not doing great, and then it did. But you know, it feels like it's really about that. And the mech one, I really just don't know what to do with. I don't, it's not a bad concept. It's just so weird the way it's done.
Real quick, I just want to say, because I only just remembered to switch out of the assets management tool on the back end of what we do. So, Andrew, thank you so much for joining us for the holidays. We love you. We love your work. We love you and your work. So,
Yeah, thanks, Andrew.
Now, okay, so wait, TK, I don't know one thing about the mech episode that I am curious about.
Yeah.
Who are the Avengers here?
And it's a weird group of Avengers
collection.
too.
Yeah, all I've seen is that it's odd.
It's the Kang Invasion / Secret Wars would have been Avengers. I don't know if that's who those Avengers will be now that we're doing different stuff, but it's Red Guardian and Elena Belova in one mech. There's a Wakandan mech. There's a Moon Knight mech. There's a Shang-Chi mech. I'm missing somebody. Monica Rambeau mech. Sam Wilson mech. That might be all of them.
Okay, well, I do really love hearing the diversity,
totally,
inclusivity on this team of mechs, but then like, I don't love the other. Okay. I don't know. I feel like if there's any nation that's hyper reliant on cars, it's white Americans.
It is visually really fun. And a perfectly fine concept, but it just didn't really get me. And then, like I said, the second episode is Agatha and the Eternals, and it's an okay concept. It just maybe isn't the best written thing I've ever seen in my life, and I don't really understand what the point of it is. It's great to have Catherine Hahn's voice back and Kumail Nanjiani, but I remember it was this morning, sitting there being like, "Oh, this is cool. It's Agatha and it's Kingo. Like this will be fun." And then by the end, I was like, I don't know what I just watched, and I really didn't end up caring. But then I loved 3, which is Road Trip Adventure with Bucky and Red Guardian, which I feel like if I had to describe a story that I would have zero interest in for Marvel producing, it would be cross-country road trip adventure between Bucky and Red Guardian.
Yeah, between Man Pain and Man Bun.
Yeah. I just could not begin to think of a story conceptually that I would just say I was 100% uninterested in having exist. But it was really fun, and I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was really well written.
Okay, two things. I hope it alternates between Rain Man and Less Than Zero, the movie, not the book.
You kind of got it, Nico.
Without any border for the story narrative. But number 2, can you, without spoils, because I don't want the spoils, this not be war.
Yeah.
Why not just the real Bucky and Red Guardian?
Why not just
if? Why not just a Marvel?
Well, I mean,
special?
When it happens is
well, good.
No, go for it.
No, I just do you mean why not a canon thing between them?
Yeah.
I mean, I get why animation. I want to say that first. It would be really hard to do too many things with these people in live action.
But the thing is, they're making Thunderbolts, which has these 2 characters. And David Harbour.
But why not more with them, I think is the question.
Well, David Harbour and Sebastian Stan are at exactly that pay scale and seem to be the kind of gung-ho availability where those are 2 actors that I believe would be fine to do a 45-minute.
Yeah.
And I think, Nico, you are correct in that maybe is the better pitch. Because this is what if there is a in universe when this happens and why it happens that is part of the story, but honestly it's not crazy important that it be that. It could take place anytime. And in fact, I kind of had to go back because it took me a minute to realize I was loving it after I was just kind of so dissociating during the Agatha one. So there was some detail stuff I missed, but I am reasonably certain it should be taking place at a time like where some of the stuff that happens can't be happening. So I got to look into that. I got to rewatch it for that. But then this is all a culmination to the fact that number 4 might be one of my favorite what ifs of all time. It's I forget what the exact thing is, but what if Howard the Duck had a kid? And who Howard the Duck has the kid with is amazing. It's such a good story. I loved it so much. I thought it was so sweet. I think it was really Matt Chauncey, because I believe Matt Chauncey Ghost wrote a lot of Love and Thunder. He has a credit as script doctor, and I think he wrote a lot of it. And it has a very similar vibe to Love and Thunder in a lot of ways. Love and Thunder, not my favorite, but when you compact it into a half hour with different characters and different actors, it actually works in a really fun way. And I don't know, it was just, to me, it was such a great story. It is the reason why you do what ifs, because it's kind of inconsequential. I think it actually does teach you something about Howard the Duck, because we that's not a character we know much about. And even if this is not a timeline that's going to exist for him when we see him again, it speaks a lot to the character. Seth Green gets to acting chops his way into some fun, and it just overall was a very, very fun episode that didn't take itself too seriously, was very edge of your seat plot and action driven, and yet somehow that plot and action still felt like fun stakes, not like melodramatic, really high stakes. Like, this is, Captain Carter having to actually save the multiverse, and this will somehow appear and have consequences in another story later type stuff. This didn't have any of that, which I really appreciated.
That's part of what I think really makes it so complicated when you're like talking about a what if. Like, what do I learn? How does this expand my experience? How do I have a better functional understanding of the universe as a result of this? Because people talk a lot about the stories between the moments, but like, what ifs are the moments that never happened. And now to further drive you crazy, TK,
Nothing drives me crazy.
you remember that tease for Imperial?
Yeah.
By John Hickman?
Yeah.
Yeah, you mean the ongoing series?
Sure.
It's a title, bro.
Yeah, whatever.
So, I don't know. Maybe
They
it's
were
Game of Thrones for the Marvel Universe.
I mean, they already said they were going to do that, and then they didn't. So I'd be very interested to know. They were also teasing that we were going to get an incursion from the Ultimate Universe this year. So I was kind of curious if this was that. And like, I don't know. I think nature abhors a vacuum, and literally no other information is kind of exactly a perfect illustration of how Marvel PR doesn't really get what it's doing and isn't for anyone. That tells us nothing. That gives us absolutely nothing. It's to do a one-liner that like If it were like Imperial, the future is fantastic, that wouldn't really tell you anything, but you'd be like, okay, this is going to be a Fantastic Four story of some kind. Nature abhors a vacuum. Wow, we all just completely overlapped each other doing It's Jeff's. Nature abhors a vacuum does not tell us a single thing. It doesn't mean anything. I can't get excited about it. It's just kind of nonsense words. And whether it ends up being about Ultimates or whether it ends up being a Game of Thrones thing, I can't really consider that I know anything but that this exists today. And in that case, I'm just like, why even mention it until you're ready to actually say something?
Oh, you mean how I feel about the fact that the fucking Superman movie comes out in July, and every time I open Snapchat, I get an advertisement for the fucking Superman movie that comes out in goddamn July?
Which, is also just like, you guys are fine. Like, we were probably going to see Superman. Like, this is maybe not the one that needed that kind of advertisement.
It's not even just them, though. I feel like I'm seeing a lot of memes. Like, I've seen so many people be like, I finally finished my Lego CGI recreation of the Superman teaser trailer. And I'm like,
oh boy,
why? I'm glad that it seems to have brought you so much joy that it's your favorite thing you've ever worked on. And I hope that's not just a line, because I don't see the point of it. I don't think it was that impressive. I'm not, looks like crap, but I am certainly like, I'm not getting too hyped too fast for sure.
Because I don't think there's anything to get hype about yet. Like,
No.
That's my frustration with a lot of this stuff. A lot of people feel like we neg things before they even come out. And that's probably true. I do really see where that is a reality of how we engage with media at the speed we engage with it. But part of the problem is we also automatically go, oh, no, that looks awesome. I know that I didn't really see anything, but what I didn't see manifested so many cool memories for me that I just don't care. Like, that's how I feel everybody felt about the Superman trailer involving the classic Superman theme.
The opposite of immediate sour reaction for me is the immediate, oh, we're so back. What the hell does that even mean? We're back from what, for what, to do what, and we brought what with us? I don't think we're back from anywhere.
But no, that's a really great point. How quickly people are like, oh, nope, this is it. Superman, he's finally back. The trailer looks great, but I also feel like people kind of said like, oh, Marvel Rivals, that's it. Marvel Gaming is back. Is it? Are you sure? Like, this is fun and I love this, but can we maybe get through a couple of like seasons of this before we decide that it is literally the end all be all best game of all time?
Yeah, I mean, and again, this is something we talked about in the past, and I think the thing that it really points to is how bad the state of gaming was prior to this. But I don't know. I mean, like, people are putting so much in the Rivals basket rather than, I mean, the thing I've been saying to people for so long is like, when Overwatch got bad, I just quit playing Overwatch and did other stuff. It sucked to not really have a good hero shooter to play, but there were other options, and Overwatch was bad, and the solution was not to play a bad game. And I think treating Marvel Rivals like it's great because it's better than the thing it's replacing is part of the same kind of sickness and delusion of the gaming community, where it's just like, it's totally good. It's very serviceable. It absolutely could tank very quickly, and it could continue to be really awesome, and it could continue to be a lot of fun. But it is, of all the cool things it's doing, being revolutionary is 0 on the list.
Absolutely, which is why I don't remember who published it, and so I am playfully calling people out with this one.
Yeah.
But I saw an article today that was what we aren't talking about is the true mistake of the Wicked film, which is that it introduces the meta, larger musical metaverse, and we're gonna have characters from Wicked engaging with characters from Into the Woods. Like, and that really wasn't what it was saying, but it was like, this is Wicked the musical to Wizard of Oz the musical in a way that creates meta context for musicals. So you should just expect to see a lot of like connected musical movies going forward. And I'm like, no, this was a fluke. The world decided it didn't hate musicals for one day, one short day in the Emerald City.
It wasn't just a fluke. This is a fluke that's taken literally not 20, but 30 years, because it took 10 years from Wicked to go from book to stage. And then it was an enormous hit, but then that flame fanned out a little bit before they could get to this point even. So, like, this has been a journey. It's not like it was overnight.
And Mean Girls simply wasn't something anybody wanted. People were fine with the musical, but I don't know a lot of people who... I'll put it this way. I saw Wicked and really loved it. I saw Wicked, the musical, and really loved it. I have not seen Mean Girls. I haven't seen a couple of the other ones that got adapted and just did spectacularly badly. But, you know, I mean, musicals are great, and there are a ton that are ready to be brought to screen that can do numbers. There's also just like budgets are a thing. Like these are very expensive, and sometimes the movie adaptation might actually be fantastic, but it just financially not enough people see it to recover the money and make it worth having been done. And just none of these things were a concern with Wicked, but they're going to be a concern with other things.
I am an enormous fan of the Mean Girls OBCR. I watched an early Slime tutorial cast that was great, and then I watched a later one. I think I watched a Sabrina Carpenter one or something, and I was like, wow, after a few months into the run, you guys really started phoning this in. That sucks to learn. I was stoked when I heard they were making a movie. I was stoked by all the talent I heard was involved. And then the more and more I learned, it's been out a year. I still have not watched it. You know, I don't begrudge it, and I'm glad for everyone that it makes happy. But yeah, kind of exactly. These things don't always work. And it's a lot of strange factors. This was not a one-for-one adaptation of even the Broadway musical, because Liz Lemon felt, why would I do that? That exists out there, so let's do something new with it, and that made it a different thing that I'm less interested in. Then there are other people who are like, nope, I just want to make a one-for-one every single time. I think they went with a lot of safe aesthetic for Oz, beautiful and grand, but they didn't try to do anything too weird. They stuck to tones that I think we felt would go along with the MGM vision, and that helped a lot.
And, you know, to that point of people were phoning it in, you know, when you think about, to use like a show that ran forever, Phantom, you got to be Christine in Phantom. Wow. But who's like, I'm going to be playing the unforgettable musical role of Katie Heron in Mean Girls. You don't wait your whole life for the opportunity to go,
yes,
what a bright time. No, that's not what you literally go to vocal lessons and dance classes for.
Yeah.
You go to vocal lessons and dance classes to be, you know, Grisabella. I keep naming people who don't dance at all in their shows.
Mean Girls is a fantastic musical for kids to perform at high schools.
And that's where I think that, like, we create a lot of discussion context for, like, adaptations and why they do or don't work. But something I don't really hear a lot of discussion on when it comes to adaptations, you know, because this isn't based on any particular famous Marvel story, but, like, to pick on a game series that's been getting picked on an awful lot lately. Sorry about it, Ultimate Alliance. But, like, Ultimate Alliance didn't see a single storyline that it didn't know how to do badly by that third game. And, you know, those first couple of games didn't have the farming or... No, it was the farming. It was really the ISO 8 farming in the third one. Good God. But, you know, but I feel like we don't talk enough about when games botch an adaptation because we're always too busy blaming movies for it. At the same time, I don't ever hear anybody say the phrase, "Oh my God, you know what I read the other day? I read the adaptation of that movie, the popular movie. Oh, it was about that young woman. She was trying to figure out who she was in the world. Not a Nora. Megan. I read the novelization of Megan, and it was terrible. It really lacked the nuance of the film. Like, I don't hear that a lot. You never hear the book was a bad adaptation of the film.
No, you sure don't.
As a guy who had a novelization of Three Ninjas Kick Back, I just really feel like there was a lot of Rocky and cult that was not it was not focused on the way I had hoped it would be. You know, it was a lot of Tum Tum and Emily.
Rocky and Emily.
No, I say that
he
Rocky
said it
and, yeah, it didn't focus on Rocky and cult the way I wanted it to.
Yeah.
I got confused.
Well, I mean, you know, Three Ninjas was a really complicated time for all of us.
True.
I just learned that the third Three Ninjas movie was technically filmed second and has all of the original cast, but then something delayed its release, and two of the Three Ninjas were replaced for what then became the second movie because it was able to be released before the one that was going to be the second and became the third.
Strike Back came out before Knuckle Up, which was produced before Strike Back, and yet neither of them have the same cast as the fourth film, High Noon at Magic Mountain.
Nope. I've only seen the first one, and frankly, looking back,
I've seen.
It was the outfits. It was the outfits. It was just the outfits.
If I was 12 or younger and the movie had ninja in the title, I watched it.
Did you guys watch Shameless at all?
No.
I know things about it.
Are you familiar with the cast of Shameless, the gay couple?
Yeah. Yeah.
The other one, not the hot ginger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know that he is the voice of Toad in X-Men Evolution?
Yes.
You did?
Toad won.
I forget, but now, yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, yeah. I just found that out yesterday, and I was blown away.
Well, it's like whenever somebody finds out that Jaleel White was one of the Sonic the Hedgehogs, and I'm just like, did I do that? Really? Is that when you learned it just now?
I mean,
Wasn't
that
he
one
both?
like is
They were different shows.
I didn't know it for a while, but it makes total sense to me.
There have since been several other Sonics.
Of course.
Okay.
Just to Kevo's question.
Yeah, he was two at the same time, and they were two different ones. That's what I thought.
Which, you know, the number of animated shows that, like, they produced two completely unrelated versions, the Saturday morning version and the syndicated version, and they ran, like, parallel, but they had the same voice cast, but one doesn't have this character at all. Like, the amount of that is nuts.
the early episodes of Darkwing Duck that focus on him being more of a secret agent that they didn't scrap, but instead they just intersperse with Goslin episodes and just act like he's just not talking about her while he's at work. No. I also always loved when they would mix Lucky Piquel and Miranda Wright episodes on Bonkers.
Yes. And now I really wish there was a Disney Afternoon Rivals. But TK, I want to ask you a very serious question because you play a lot of support. You play a lot of healers.
Yeah.
Are you all one group of people? And if so, I'm going to poison them all through you because I cannot get a fucking support character to support me in this game. If I need one of my own teammates to spit me out over the wall in Jeff mode, I can comfortably rely on the only mode I have found where one of your own teammates can pretty comfortably regularly kill you. Thanks. Why is this is the support in this game harder? Is it do you think like a culture of everybody wants to be their own superhero gameplay? Why can I'm a melee character. I need to be supported. Love me. Be my athletic supporter. Hold me up.
I will say it is a mix of multiple factors, and I'm going to call out the one I know the least about from your perspective, but I know the most about from my perspective, which is I am 100% certain you are being healed more than you realize. It's just the game moves fast, and there are a lot of factors. Another really big one is they designed gameplay around 2 damages, 2 vanguards, and 2 supports on each team. But they are clearly fully aware of the fact that everybody wants to play damage characters. That's why in the last week they released like 8 damage characters and no vanguard and only 1 support. Because they knew most people would be excited to play the damage characters. So you will I end up in matches all the time where I am the only person not playing a damage character. Or one that like sometimes I'm okay with is, having 4 damages, 1 vanguard, and 1 support. And there's various combinations of that. But if that is the case and I end up being the only support, I have a ton of work to do. And it can be very difficult to figure out where you're going to focus your attention and who you're going to focus your heals on. And a lot of supports are not built for that kind of work. If I see that happening, that's where I'm going to maybe play Mantis, because Mantis can give everybody her heal over time and send them off. And then, she can just keep kind of revisiting everyone. But when you're doing quick play, not a lot of people think like that. Everybody's kind of... it's a mix of it's really weird because everybody, when you do quick play, everybody goes, why are you freaking out? Well, I'm just trying to have fun. And I'm like, on the one hand, of course, but on the other hand, if you're not trying to play for some kind of win, it's not fun. If you are, one of the reasons I love Splatoon is because it has a bunch of sandbox modes that are built around, literally, if you just want to get on a map and jump around, Splatoon has you covered there.
Well, because you never fuck not to come?
I don't want to delve too much into that, but yeah, actually I do, but
you can play not to win.
You can play not to win, but there needs to be kind of play towards some kind of strategy. And I think especially when it's casual play where you literally don't know any of the other players, your kind of best bet is some version of play to win, or, you know, it's okay if you're like experimenting and you maybe don't know a character as well, but at least are trying, which is another one that happens and is another place where you'll often find people playing, like, you know, for instance, support and maybe not healing you well, because they're just figuring out how to do it, and it can be really frustrating. At the end of the day, these games are at their best when you are playing with 5 other people that you are on mic with, where everybody has decided the role that they're going to play ahead of time. And where you can say, like, hey, you know, one of my supports, I need you to come heal me. And that person both has chosen to be support, so has some experience, but also, you know, is on your team and is specifically playing with you. As soon as you move out of that scenario where, you know, you're not on mic, you don't know the people at all, you're not doing competitive play, you're doing casual play, every factor comes into play in terms of, like, you can just have a run of really bad luck where I mean, like, my same version of that question is, why are none of the vanguards protecting me so that I can stay alive and heal everybody? You know, I want
to know why they're not protecting you to keep you alive either. I'm out there killing everybody.
Yeah. But, like, you know, if we sat down and I was like, okay, what are you doing to, you know, kill everybody to protect your supports, you maybe would tell me some stuff and I would be like, hey, that one thing that you're talking about doesn't actually help the support at all. And if the support sees you doing that, they're going to say, like, oh, this guy doesn't even care about helping me, even though you know that you do, you just didn't necessarily know that wasn't the best strategy. And I think that there's just, with so many new players coming into this game, there's so much of that. And I think support is such a poorly understood role. I think a lot of people really don't want to play support, but because so many people are playing damage, a lot of people are reluctantly playing support just to make sure somebody is healing.
Well, so I want to engage with this a little bit because,
yeah,
like,
totally.
You know how, like, I try to be like the nicest guy, but, like, you know, end of the day, like Captain America, I'm kind of like a big dick bully, and that's just sort of, like, unfortunately what I do. And I don't mean to, but, like, if I just fucking get my claws at a Jeff, he's dead. If I start wailing on a Jeff, he's dead. If I start wailing on a Dagger, she's dead. If I start wailing on a Mantis, she's dead. If I go after a Scarlet Witch or a Loki, I might as well kill myself, because that's just the stupidest thing you can do as a Wolverine, as a Cap. I play a lot of Wolverine, Cap, and Thor. I'm okay with Namor, but it's not the best situation I've had. I'm horrible with Magneto. I'm horrible with Storm. And I bring this up because, like, my gameplay style is, I get in there and I kill you, and then I run away really, really fast. Which is why Venom is my worst character. He's so slow. He's the slowest fucker in the world. So, like, the game is obviously designed to allow for people who go in and just want to stab to death.
Yeah.
Do you feel that the healing is balanced for that as well? Like, the type of player I am, and, like, I mean this affectionately. When you describe the type of player I am, it is with a certain level of affectionate derision. And so I'm so I'm being very silly and very playful.
I hope so, because I said such nice things about the kind of player that you are yesterday.
No, really, for real. It's just that, you know, you're like, you run in and it is hard to, as a support character, take care of all the time. And, like, I really get that. Do you feel that this game is designed for players like that?
That's where we get into this thing of, like, if you're playing quick play, basically my answer is no. Like, it technically, yes, because you might wind up on a team with the right people. Like, if you randomly roll the dice, get into a quick play game, and you're with me, and I see that, you know, there's a lot of there's Thors, there's Logans. I might start, and you know, maybe I see you playing, and I'm like, oh, this guy likes to dive and then get out and go back. Then I might be like, okay, time to switch over to Mantis. And because that way I can give you the heal over time, and then I don't need to be constantly, as when I'm playing Dagger, I don't need to constantly be hitting you with heals. I just need to get in there as often as you do and make sure you have her healing mark on you, and then that's just going to heal you over time, and we're good. The average player is not thinking like, honestly, the average player doesn't think like that ever, but especially with Rivals being so new and pulling so many new people in who don't know a ton about strategy for games like this, the average player just isn't thinking like that at all. They're thinking, you know, Rocket have gun, will play Rocket. And this is exceedingly chaotic right now. This is a chaotic time for this game. And like I said, I think the best thing that people can do is make sure they have a mic and a microphone, and a headset and a microphone, and find 5 other people to play with where everybody is willing to stick to one role, at least for a match. You know what I mean? People can switch up if they want, but you want to find 5 people where somebody's always willing to play. Oh no, they already have 2 supports.
Okay. But I just need to say that the fact that there's somebody in this game whose name is Mr. Eat Yo Cheeks.
Yes.
I just need to be clear. That's my kind of
guy. Is that
not
you?
I gamed up with somebody whose name was Old Brunswick.
Oh, wow.
I need to be clear with you. I live I live in Saraville. So like I'm literally between and I always lie, and I tell people on the internet, like, hey, everybody on the internet, I always say that I'm from Old Bridge so that nobody can find where I live, because like the other day I'm at, and like I haven't even had a chance to talk to you about this yet. The other day I'm out to my corporate dinner with the VPs, and like there's a bunch of people there, and if he's watching, hey, you're beautiful, man. Dude hits me up on Scruff to be like, hey, I thought that was you. Yeah, no, I mean, you're NICO Action. People know who you are on this app. Yeah, I just can't believe I'm in the same room as you. Do you want to go hang out? And I had to be like, what? And he's like, oh no, I've watched you. And I'm like, you've watched me? And he's like, oh, fine. And I'm like, oh. Okay, hi, that's nice. But so like, I always lie and say that I'm from Old Bridge, but that really, it still puts me literally one town over, so it doesn't make any difference. It's like saying that you're from Lake Kennebunkport when you're from Kennebunkport Beach. They're just right next to each other, you know? So I was playing with somebody named Old Brunswick, which is crazy because where we live, there's New Brunswick, East Brunswick, New Brunswick, East Brunswick, North Brunswick, and South Brunswick. The joke is that there's no West Brunswick or Old Brunswick, so that somebody used that name when we made that the name of the city in our comic book, because it's such like a local joke that like Old Brunswick is like a thing people in this area say. So like it was so, and then somebody else was named Daddy Dumbo. And if anybody knows anything about me, elephants are my favorite thing in the universe, and Dumbos are my favorite version of any elephant ever. And it's because blue-eyed boys with big ears do it for me. Hey, what's up, Kevy? And so like the names on this game reflect the coolness of the people. But then the other thing is, every time I see somebody, NICO Action, TK Accidental, you know, anybody with those sorts of names, I'm always like, oh wow, no, yeah, Jimmy Pretzel, like, yeah, he's probably got a YouTube channel. Fuck yeah, Jimmy Pretzel. I like the culture of personality.
Yeah,
Some
totally.
algorithmically spread out by Reddit.
Well, and that, that same culture of personality is kind of part of what I think is great about the game and like great about the casual modes, but also where you run into people being like, oh yeah, I wasn't really trying to do my best to heal you. I was just having fun playing casual mode. Why are you so upset? And it's like, well, because like I did want to play, I wanted you to do your role and me to do my role such that we got to have a nice game. Like you didn't have to fight for it like this is the Olympics, but I thought you were gonna do, more actual kind of playing of your role.
Okay. I want to support you now. Can I be your supporter for a moment?
Of course.
I made a really callous joke earlier. No, I made a really what I thought was playful, funny app joke. Well, don't you ever fuck not to come. But like actually, hold on. If you say to your partner, I want to mess around right now, and I don't plan on coming. Like, it's one thing if you're ultimately like, yeah, it's not going to happen right now. But if you're like, that is not my goal.
Yeah, which is honestly something I say a lot.
Yeah, you should just communicate that to your partner. There should be a way to say to your teammates that because I keep the audio off. I want to be it's December. I want to be listening to Seth MacFarlane sing Christmas to me.
Do you turn it totally off?
Yes.
You should not do that. You should change your setting because you want to make sure you can hear.
No, because every time I hear people, I want to die.
No, I'm saying you want to make sure you can hear when characters fire their ultimates.
Oh no, there's a thing. You see that.
You're reading it?
Yeah. It's faster for me to read.
I 100% believe you. That is completely insane to me, but as long as you see that, the rest of it I don't care about.
Oh yeah, no, that's why I was like, what do you mean? No, I read that. Like that's why that didn't even occur to me.
and the same thing, I was like, there's literally no other way to know when they're coming if you are not listening to it. I was like, oh, you're constantly getting killed because you don't know. That's really fun. I think that's awesome. Like, and then again, like that's different gameplay styles. I never in a million years would have thought somebody is reading those and getting information from that is necessary to play. But now that you say it, of course that has to be true. And like, that's somebody's play style. But yeah, I mean, like, and you can type messages. You're absolutely right. If people really want to fuck around, if that is why you're in quick play today, just get up there and say like, hey guys, just so you know, I'm just experimenting. Like, I don't play support characters, so I'm just practicing with my support character. I'm sorry if I'm not great. Call me and ask me to heal you if you need it. And yeah, people don't do a lot of that. Like, that's just, again, like that's where we get from the point of like, well, people don't really know how to play, like how to play the meta of this game or like get to what needs to be done. We move from that into like nobody has basic human decency anymore. Because it would be so easy to just be like, oh yeah, like I just am doing something. I'm playing a different way. And people just don't do that.
And like, it's weird because I love solo games because I don't need to rely on other people.
Yeah.
When I play games that involve heavy NPC participation, I really need to think about whether or not that game is going to be for me. I can't think of which Final Fantasy is off the top of my head. I think it's 12. 12, where the character you're not playing is controlled by a vague sense of AI. And okay, you know when you follow a YouTube channel and you think you would follow this YouTube channel to the edge of the desert, yes. And then they release a video and you're like, never mind.
Yes.
I love this one Pokemon channel so much that I grew 3 sizes that day. And it is just one of the best Pokemon channels in the world. They did a really off-the-wall video a couple of days ago where I was just like, no, thank you. But one of the things that I think is really important to consider when you're talking about these sorts of games and you're talking about like channels and what people produce and kind of like human decency. You're talking about the design of games where the expectation involves a set algorithm. right? So one of the things I love that this channel does is they talk about whether or not a Pokemon rumor is true. Can you hear a roaming Pokemon that has X percentage chance of appearing on any route, on a route that pulls sound from this bank? And people say, no, I'm sure that's happened. I have heard it, and I can promise you I've heard it. Well, then somebody data mines the game and sends it to this guy and is like, no, for the record, it's impossible. All random calls are pulled from the bank that sets the random Pokemon encounters, not the special encounter bank, which comes in secondary. No, so you cannot hear that. And like, you wind up in a position where people sort of forget that their personal experience does not define the entirety of Pokemoning. There are 750 something, I'm sure there's like 803 or whatever, but like there's like, 800 Pokemon. There are 800 Pokemon cries. Frankly, they are based on 12 notes that run along a very digital grading scale. And there's only so many ways you can combine so many ways to make it sound like an original animal. So people who say they have for sure heard Suicune, on a route when they are exploring, you couldn't have. Somebody data mined and found you definitely couldn't have. But there is this expectation because solo play games like Pokemon have given us the idea and the identity that what we do is so unique to our gameplay that when you go to a game like this, that is a multiplayer experience, the idea of entertaining the other of self becomes so removed from customary engagement that it is almost understandable. You, a dog, learned the bell. You learned that this is how you play a game by yourself. You can't help that you behave like you're by yourself when you hear a bell in group settings. And I do wonder how much that sort of Pavlovian gameplay instinct is written into how we MMORGP.
I think it's interesting that you mentioned the like Pavlovian response, because that is something that I am kind of unforgiving about the existence of. And you're right, it is part of it. Like, it is people acting instinctually. And the fact of the matter is, I think people also act very intentionally or unintentionally, but not in a Pavlovian way. I think people are just selfish.
I don't disagree with that.
And I do, that is 100% why people aren't playing support in this game when we need that. That's why people are saying, like, I see that our team has 2 damages that picked before me, but I want to play damage. And so even though this will throw off team composition and, we won't have enough healers, I'm just going to play a 3rd or a 4th or a 5th damage character because I play what I want to play. And I don't care if this just makes this game unenjoyable, if this makes this particular round unenjoyable for everybody else. I want to play Wolverine. So that's what's happening.
Wow, did you have to use Wolverine?
I choose to believe that when you see that there are 4 damages, you play Thor and play a Vanguard.
I find that I am not the first person to set my character. I just unplug my computer from the wall and pretend that there was a blackout.
I think that's smart. That's definitely a good way to go, because they'll replace you, but
if I can't be Wolverine, then I don't, or Thor, or I don't go in thinking, oh my god, I'm such a good player. I'm so good, you guys. Like, I never channel my inner Drew Barrymore. You guys, I am like so excited just to be like hosting a show that I'm just gonna like
I need
hang
to
out
touch
with
people.
my friends. I know, I just need to touch people. I'm a toucher, and like I don't mind unions, but like I'm gonna cross them. I don't think that I'm just Drew Barrymore deciding that I'm cool and I can take over daytime because I've got a lot of famous friends. By the way, Drew Barrymore, I think you, me, and Gwen Stefani should just do impressions of each other. But
I
I would too. But I do think that I am somebody who goes in with an expectation. And like, so Teak, how many characters do you rotate through? Because like fucking Jonah, that dumb idiot monkey boy who is so good at video games, I just want to kick him to death.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. No, but like he'll just
No,
be like,
I
"Oh."
do. I feel that way. I want to kick him to death.
He was like, "Oh, I just want to play with Psylocke right now and see if I can get to know her." Ooh, MVP by accident. How nice. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, I hate you
fuck
so
that kid.
much.
Screw that kid. I, as we have discussed, I am very hardcore maining Cloak and Dagger. That is kind of, as Jonah is saying, like, it's I want to get good with her and him. It's genuinely where I feel I can bring the most utility and be the best healer. But I just played a game that we lost where somebody had Cloak and Dagger first, so I did Luna Snow because that's an option, and I want to always make sure that I can passably play 2 or 3 other healers. So Luna, Mantis, Rocket. I generally do not play Jeff, Loki, or Adam Warlock, and that is strictly because my brain does not love their kits. Like I don't play as well when that is the power set that is being offered as the healer. But Luna is like all of the parts of Cloak and Dagger that I don't like. So she can be a bit of a bummer, but I also just see people do so much damage and so much healing as her that I'm trying to get better. Mantis is, as I said, really great for that thing where I see like, oh, these players are diving a lot and then getting out of the main play area. I need to be able to make sure they're healed, but not have to stay on them. And so, Mantis having her heal over time ability is perfect for that. Rocket, I'm still trying to really figure out my like preferred use case for, but I think he's a good character, and the big thing is he has a lot of mobility. So that's kind of, I tend to, again, it's like my brain doesn't do well focusing on mobility. My positioning skills are not the best. I don't have great spatial awareness. And so characters where that's like an asset of their power set, I'm kind of never going to be using those characters correctly. And it's always a matter of like, can the hero's kit make up for the fact that I'm not great with spatial relations, or will the fact that I'm not great with spatial relations mean that I never use that character's kit well? And that's kind of what I'm trying to figure out with Rocket, especially.
I feel like you are in a vast majority of players with Rocket in that regard, and I feel really bad saying it, but like I can quite literally pummel a Rocket to death as Wolverine, like a bear going after a nervous twink in a bar. It is just like full on. I get on top of him and he can't get out from under me and just gives in and lets it happen.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be true with most characters that are not Vanguards, with Logan, because that's just that's how his power set works. I often, as Cloak or Dagger, will throw down my healing bubble and then sit in it, and Logan will still come into it, and there's just no way she can't make up the healing as fast as Logan can kill her. So like even sitting in a healing bubble, Dagger is gonna die by Logan's hand. There's really very few characters who aren't Vanguards for whom that isn't the case.
That is not how I had thought of it, and that's really interesting.
Yeah.
I think because, and maybe is it maybe the design of the character? Is Rocket being so small and like maybe light and airy a little bit the challenge? Because like I don't know. I don't feel like Mantis lays down and dies for me the way Rocket does. I mean, Rocket is just. I have a really inappropriate joke I will share with you guys later because it is that level of funny. But it is one particular performer just slaughtering the other with Rocket. But like Mantis, even though I know I said that Mantis is another one that I can just sort of stab to death, she, as a character I face a lot, puts up more of a fight than does Rocket. And that's what's interesting. Like Jeff's another one. I feel really bad, but if I see a Jeff, I will just stab him to death. And like, it's because he does not put up a fight. And like, he cannot, shoot ink at me any faster than I can stab him.
No, he can't. And his projectile is not very powerful.
No.
So it's always going to be a losing battle for Jeff. I wonder how much of it is a bit of a coincidence in terms of like you're playing Rockets that you're just playing a lot of people that aren't very good with Rocket, and you happen to be playing people who are good with Mantis, because Rocket is like I said, everybody has pretty similar health pools. Rocket actually does have the benefit of some shielding that he generates for himself, and that if you're playing Rocket, to go get those shields. So his HP is even a little bit higher because he's so low to the ground. He's going to have smaller hitboxes. But then the other thing Rocket has is he can sprint away, and so while I could absolutely see like on a 1v1 just stabbing him to death very quickly. He should be more of a challenge because he should be, when he sees you, sprinting away, and he's faster than you with his jet boost, so he should be able to get away. So not like you're wrong, NICO, but like that's a surprise to me that that's your experience. And again, like it makes me wonder if it is a coincidence of just playing a bunch of people who aren't particularly good as Rocket. Because a good Rocket player, while at a certain point, if there's nowhere to go and there's nothing to do, he can't face a Wolverine. He should at the very least be able to get out of the fight. Where like again, Mantis, fantastic example. That's just not the case.
I don't know.
Oh, he left me.
He did leave you, and I am having.
I was gonna say this is not your forte to respond to.
No, and more specifically, I'm having weird audio stuff. I can't. Can you hear the music right now?
Yeah.
I cannot hear the music. I can hear you. Maybe if I change the track.
Yeah, I can really hear it.
Okay. Now I can. Okay. It was really bugging me. I'm sitting here dead silent. I'm like.
You're now muddy because we changed the music, but that'll go away.
Okay.
Nope, you're back.
That's so funny because that's not normal for me. But yeah, no, I was sitting here like everyone else is just. I mean, I if that's the choice we're making, but dead silence is so new, and it just feels so quiet.
Yeah, no, I had music the whole time.
Oh, okay.
Same as did I, and that's why I thought we had communicated it properly. How you doing, dude? You want to keep playing? You having fun?
I'm going to play for a little bit more and probably sign off in like 10 or 15 minutes and go make myself some hot cocoa because it's that kind of night.
It is boot up some Merry Christmas, Mrs. Moskovitz. All I really want to, like, honestly, I feel really bad about it, but if somebody's asking me what my holiday is, because like we all have problematic favorites, and like my problematic favorite of all time is Frasier. Like, I know Kelsey Grammer says all sorts of weird things in lingerie, but like I really want to just go out of my way to say like classic Frasier is perfect. And not every episode, not every moment, but Frasier Christmas, like We Three Kings, Or
Literally almost every single winter holiday episode except for the first and the last are all really excellent. The last one, no, not last one.
The last
Oh,
one
I'm
is High
thinking of the
Holiday.
last. I'm thinking of the last Frasier Halloween episode where it's the prank
Yeah.
and Bulldog. That one sucked.
That's-
No, you're
that's-
absolutely
yeah.
right. It's just the first Frasier Christmas with the hooker that really is not good. But Rashomon Christmas, we have to pretend we're Jewish for Christmas. I accidentally got my dad high for Christmas. We pretended that we were fighting so that we could surprise our dad at work on Christmas, but he surprised us and he stayed home. All amazing, all classics.
Kevo, did you like Frasier before you met Nico?
Not probably to the same degree. And I still very strongly prefer everything from Niles and Daphne getting together onward. I find all of his stuff awkward. I really love that point of the series. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I was more of a Friends person.
Yeah.
Growing up. And then Will and Grace Fagums, obviously.
You know, I can even say part of what it is that I think makes Frasier the standout show. The definition of a sitcom is a situation comedy. And the thing that we sometimes lose in sitcoms is the idea that the person needs to either be a fish out of water in our world or a fish out of water in their own world. And too often, people become like Liz Lemon, where her lemonism infects everyone around her. Thus, to the point where there is no one at TGS or at 30 Rock who is capable of providing us a contrary perspective. Everybody is just as unreliable a narrator as is Liz, in a way that then makes her unspecial. But one of the things that sets Frasier apart is even when that family becomes a singular unit against the world, it's a world that we recognize is not allowing for them. It's shock jocks, it's sports guys, it's bars, it's ideas that contrast those notions. But what are the notions on 30 Rock? Hollywood, all crazy liberal yahoos. It's Broadway, all crazy gay liberal yahoos. It's late night TV, all people who literally don't remember what life is like off of Quaaludes. So like, we hit a point where there's an identity crisis for most sitcoms when it comes to exploring the idea of self versus other. But Frasier never once allowed the curtain of self to fall long enough that Frasier's belief of his own lies was ever okay. We start to believe that maybe the 30 Rock group deserve good things. We never fool ourselves for even one moment. We know Frasier gets everything he really wants. So the things he deserves, he maybe shouldn't get them.
I don't know. That's so interesting. And I really think part of it is for a lot of things, people start at a level and advance. And so, like, we were able to be deceived into feeling like Liz Lemon is so struggling at the beginning of the show. By the end, she's like got a fucking duplex and a hot little twink husband and all these great things. And we're still supposed to feel so sorry for her life. But frankly, at the very beginning, we're not supposed to feel that sorry for her life. It's an offhand joke they make once, but she literally says, "Where's my Emmy?" Doesn't she have some sort of Emmy at the very beginning of the series? And like TGS is not a piece of shit. And so like, yeah, it is such a disparity of from where she starts to where she ends up. Whereas Frasier stays at the same level of opulence. So we never felt sorry for him to begin with, and then he never got more or less than we really felt like he deserved, which is the base level he started at.
Which is the exploration of the identity of shows whose narration changes perspective. With Golden Girls, Dorothy starts cold and aloof. By the end, she's cold and aloof. Blanche starts silly and slutty. By the end, she's silly and slutty. But the definition of cold and the definition of aloof adapt from 1985's definition of cold and aloof to 1992's. The same thing can be said for characters on Friends. Rachel representing the ideal identity of the suburban girl who gets the city life transforms under the weight of going from Melanie Griffith in Working Girl to going to a world that had already seen Working Girl and didn't need that lesson anymore. A body for sitcoms. So,
Nice.
it then brings us to the idea of who is Frasier? Well, what was Frasier in 1993? What is a guy who thinks he's so much better than everyone that he can never seem to have a good time? Well, it turns out in 2004, it wasn't that different a thing. And so I think that's even where knowing the identity politics of a character makes it a little bit easier to create that that binding that allows the character to be eternal. Captain America isn't the same thing all the time, but he always stands for the idea of protecting the people in America who need protection. That's an identity. Iron Man has already kind of fallen out of vogue because what's a rich guy? Well, it went from rich guys who wanted to save the world to a whole lot of Elon. So and of course I'm talking about Elon Flux, the billionaire who catches a fly with their eye.
Yeah. Is that really what that movie's about?
It was a bit in the anime and manga that they did in like the first minute of the film, and then the rest of the film is a goddamn disaster.
That's correct.
I mean, that is like that movie is good for 1.5 minutes, and then the rest of the film is literally unwatchable.
Yep. It's a real
That's
disappointment. I remember feeling very confident that that was going to be the case, and so buying a bootleg copy in Chinatown.
Why can I never remember the name of Canal Street?
Yeah.
I'm like, where do you go to buy puffer jackets when you only want to pay thin jacket price?
Right.
Canal Street.
That's correct.
I had a boyfriend for a while whose dad was like the most, no, we go and shop at Canal Street, you know what I'm saying? Kind of guy you've ever met. And like literally one time we took his girlfriend, who was younger than me, by the way, his son I was dating, my age, and I all went on a horse-drawn carriage ride through Central Park, and he literally said out loud, "It was kind of bumpy. I'm not going to give the guy a tip."
Oh my God.
So I was like, "Sir, I only have 6 singles on me, but sir, here is your tip of 6 singles. I am 21 and have to go." So, very clear memory for moi. Okay, listen, it looks like you're not starting another game right now, but then I got to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Daredevil is supposedly coming in April.
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly. That's a different word. So then it really is. Supposedly is something you've heard. Supposedly is something you hazard. They're different words, and I
actually didn't think supposedly was a word at all. So there you go.
It's just suppose.
Fair.
As opposed to someone else already having a supposition.
Totally.
So
Unagi isn't something you have, it's something you are.
That's the one. So, okay, then supposedly Doom and Torch for when Fantastic Four drops. Okay, I'm doing some math. And at some point, if this keeps up, by 2027, everyone on the planet will work for Viridian Dynamics. So we're going to have a problem if they... Who the fuck are they going to put in 2026? Superman, because he's free public domain? Like, they're going to run out of characters that people give 1/8 of a shit about. And I say that because I want you, with all your heart and all your soul, I mean, like Lauryn Hill finding the strength to go on stage with the Fugees in 2023. I want you to search your heart and soul for one video game that is not called Ghost Rider that features 2 separate Ghost Riders as different people and not different skins? How many characters can they really milk out of Rivals?
A lot. They definitely can. My other favorite hero shooter, Paladins, has 59 playable characters. That's 26 more than Rivals has now. So that's 2 years of one.
Terrible.
That's 2 years of one character a month, which they won't do. So I think we can get to 59. I think we can get to 60 pretty easily. And then, you know, I imagine if they were smart, they would be planning to get to what year is the first issue of Marvel Comics of Fantastic Four?
61.
61. So yeah, they should get 61 characters and then do, you know, an anniversary, 61 for 61. And
so who's your asshole bleeding for? Like, who, if you don't get them, are you just...
I mean, I don't know, because I never know who's going to be a support character. I don't care who shows up in the game. I care who I can play.
So KEVO and I came up with a phrase today in the car that is, I think, absolutely the new, and I can't say it because I'll get banned on Twitch, but because I forgot Twitch is a little bit more angry about gay hate speech, but like I'm a homosexual, so I get to say it. Anyway, it's a very funny phrase.
F-slur?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Gaga is gagging for you, F-slur, which is like my new favorite thing to say. But if Gaga were gagging for anything, it would be for a nigh impenetrable blast field, son. And I think Cannonball, with his full power set, where he can actually direct the blast field, which is, I mean, all Kid Riot has ever been, is just what if Cannonball was Latino? So, like, I mean, just think about it for 5 seconds, and it's so obviously there. But, like, I'm obsessed with not just Cannonball and Sam Guthrie, but this idea of secondary lineages and tertiary royal families. The Guthries are a tertiary royal family with a secondary lineage going on in Marvel. That's a once removed opportunity to grow. You know, like the Kennedys weren't Rockefellers until they were. And so, I mean, it ain't all Camelot. So I really just feel like, who are you hungry for? For me, it's Cannonball and Elektra.
Yeah, again, like it's Jean, but then I don't think Jean's going to be a healer. Emma, but I don't think Emma's going to be a healer. So you're only in this for yourself. Got it. Yeah, I mean, I still haven't played Wolverine. I think it's great that he's in the game. Completely expected, obviously, but I don't play as that character ever. So what do I care? I'm happy that he's there. I'm happy for the people who get to have the experience. But like, but
could you play as him a little bit so that you can give me some advice on how to get better?
No, because I'm not good at damage characters. That's the whole point.
Oh my god.
I wouldn't. You got to talk to somebody else for that. I'll give you some names, but I'm not the guy. I will give you bad advice because that's not my playstyle. I don't play damage.
This guy over here is taking names and giving ass. Wait.
It's, in some ways. I would love my girl Kushala, because I do believe she could be a healer.
That's great.
And she would be really cool. Swamp Thing, I could see being a healer. I think he'd probably be a Vanguard, but I would love to see Swamp Thing as a healer. That would be really fun.
Is there somebody that you would love to have as a healer, but it would be just so, because like Elektra could be a healer. It would be so perverse.
Yeah,
she really could be, and it wouldn't be outside of the realm of her character.
It would be, that one would be pretty tough. That's kind of outside the realm of her character.
I could watch her resurrect bodies.
Yeah, I was gonna say I could, like, she could throw herbs, but like I don't feel like I don't know that we would get there. Kushala would be a really huge one. I'm trying to think. I mean, Jean, Jean as a healer would be amazing. I mean, Cable, obviously, X-Man, any of them as healers would be fantastic. Cable as a healer would be incredible. There's ways you can justify it, especially after Cable Reloaded, because he like idolizes Rocket, because in the future Rocket is a incredible space general. I'm like completely blanking on the X-Men I like now. Of course,
but I want to add, I also love Roller Rocket Tycoon, and it's because the character has so much potential.
Yeah.
But I feel like I don't like anybody's actual exploration of Rocket.
Yeah.
I also think that no one should serve Bradley Cooper a deli sandwich for his performance of Rocket ever.
No, I really wish that was not the case. I wish it were
What did I
anybody
call
else.
him? Bradley Whitford. That's right.
Jane
Bradley Whitford
Kasmerick's
would be
piece?
phenomenal Rocket.
I was like, who was Lady Gaga in love with again? Bradley Whitford. Oh, right.
Star-Lord. They're trying to strip mine Big Sky.
Actually, Bradley Whitford would completely 1000% be up for and do an amazing job at Rocket Raccoon. But Bradley Cooper could never do the things Bradley Whitford does.
No, he could
Jane
never have been
Kasmerick.
Josh Lyman.
Or to Jane Kasmerick. I don't know about to Jane Kasmerick. She seems like she'd be very demanding.
I'm down for that.
Their marriage did not seem healthy.
Well,
I don't think that
it wound
Bradley
up
could
okay.
withstand
they're
it.
still together.
Whitford, that
They're
is.
not.
Oh, I
They're
thought they
very-
wound up. I thought
No,
they
they're
like.
very
I thought they got
divorced.
back.
They separated and they filed for divorce and then unfiled.
I'm on it.
No, they're divorced. Yeah, he's been married to somebody else since 2019.
Good for
Oh,
him.
wow. Yeah.
Some really
they did-
ugly text messages by him came to light.
No, unshocked.
Well,
Yeah,
they unseparated for a minute at one point.
I fully
Sorry.
believe that, but it didn't keep.
Well, she's
There's an-
Jane as marketable, so hopefully she gets some Malcolm in the front, back, and middle, and not Malcolm in particular.
Yikes!
This is not
There is an image of him on his Wikipedia profile that I swear to God, I thought this was Martin Sheen.
I can see why you would think that.
Yeah.
I'm going through. Cecilia Reyes would be really she's the perfect Vanguard, so that would be. She would have to be a Vanguard. I'm going through all these. I'm like looking at my comic collection.
I feel
trying
like
to
you're
figure
missing. You're missing a really, I think, clear and obvious healer that is kind of primed for this era of.
Oh no, you froze.
I think that
This
one of the
era
things,
of
the Marvel Universe, I would love to see a Clea. I think that with Charlize Theron's upcoming, let's go with Marvel Universe appearances, with the fact that she had a 2-year turn as the Sorcerer Supreme, with Doctor Doom being basically the following Sorcerer Supreme, I think Clea is in a huge place to have a massive growth for a character. And she's going to get t-shirts. She's going to get toys. She's going to get Barbies. I don't know that Mystique was the hot item she is until she got a Barbie. Also, where's Mystique in this? Who would Mystique? How would a Mystique work with?
She'd be very tough because she morphs. So, but as they've shown with Cloak and Dagger, you can put multiple characters into one person, and it weirdly works.
Would you have appreciated an Xavier who could also manifest Onslaught?
Yeah, that would be super cool. I in that case, that would be his ultimate. But I still think it would be very cool.
I think it would be really cool if Garth Brooks's ultimate was Chris Gaines.
You're the worst.
I'm such a dumb man. Okay,
Yeah.
but what is important to remember is that I'm a very big man, and it's just all sleeve busting over here. It's Christmas, so let me have it. No. What I do want to say, actually, though, for a moment, I kind of love our show, and I love our fans, and like I love what we do, and it's like tough because I love Christmas, but I don't love every minute of the Christmas season. And I love being alive, but I don't love every second of existence. That's for sure. But when you weigh out what it all takes to have that smile every day, it's hard. Like it's tricky, and you have to pull together the things that shape your worldview, and the things that shape my worldview are my people. And so like I had a really great conversation with my mother today, because like, my mom, I'm basically Emma Bunton, and my mom's my best friend. But like my mom is also like a huge source of balance in my life for me. And I was talking to her about the fact that, I might look like a fresh young face about to play a teenager on a Fox show in the 90s. So I'm probably 50. But no, realistically, I'm 38 and I'm pushing 39, and I'm really excited about that. But like, it means that my identity and my idea of holidays, because I'm lucky enough that my family is still around and very present in my life, is very shaped by those experiences. But, when we went to my sister's house for the holiday today, I said to her pretty early on, hey, by the way, we're going to leave around 5 because, I want to make sure that I'm home to do my show. And she was like, oh, I see. Your fans are more important than me. No, I get it. Go home and have a good time. And like, it's because part of what this show is my monologue in my head, kind of coming to life for all of you. And, that includes, of course, KEVO and TK, who hear it 24/7, and Hot Older Boyfriend, who has been in the room like 99% of the episode and is so supportive, and I'm so grateful. Or Jonah, who wasn't able to tune in tonight, or Tori, who might not have even have known there was a broadcast, but it's gaming, so she might have just said, yeah, I don't know these games you play, so...
I took too many edibles and forgot that you guys were on cam tonight, so...
Where's Tori? Now I want to hang out with her. She's the fucking coolest. But no, it's like, it's just important to remember that this show is a show because you guys watch it. It's not just 3 people shouting into the void. That's just a cave. So thank you for making this show and not just a cave. I'm pretty grateful. I'll probably be less maudlin about it for the rest of the season, because I get pretty New Year's-y till New Year's, and then I get real sad in the middle of January, and then it's a couple of weird episodes that you all deal with. But no, I'm having a great time. I'm gonna go eat some peanut butter chocolate ice cream cake. It's gonna be great.
Ooh, yes.
Anybody else? Don't leave me here with my feels.
Yeah, I love this show. I love what we do. I love you guys. I feel dumb sometimes when we do our sign off and I say my social, because I never fucking update. I try to skeet more. I never update my Insta, which is dumb because I'm a graphic artist and I should at least be putting something up. But the fact is, and the thing I always remind myself of is, this is sort of us putting ourselves out there. This is who we are. This is, us being ourselves and presenting ourselves and what we think and feel about things to the world. It's pretty much what we do when we're not on camera, except we try to make ourselves look a little bit more presentable and try to swear a little bit less because monetization.
This is the cleanest I get with the most pants that I wear.
We broadcast last Christmas, and when you brought up the idea of broadcasting this Christmas, I was like, hell yeah, of course, right away. Obviously, I love what we do. I love hanging out together, and that we get to bring it to all you people, and that you all enjoy it too, is very lovely.
TK, I want to hear your uniquely main thoughts, not because anything, but I've come to love, you, yes, but also the addition of main thoughts, because I've come to really love a New England Christmas. There is a certain element of like, we think of Americana and we define Americana in very specific realms, but I feel like New England is just as responsible for the idea of Christmas and winter Americana as is any part of the South, because that snow-fallen identity, that the roads are slick and you have to stay in and curl up by the fireplace. I've never felt anything like that in my life, the way I feel that in Maine. Sometimes in September, So it's really interesting how your world, the world outside your window, is sort of this idyllic, Christmassy vibe, kind of like 4 or 5 months of the year. So what makes it worth hopping on a Christmas day to be all cute about it?
I mean, you kind of said it. Like, it's cold, and it's I mean, the roads are not actually that bad today, but there is snow on the ground, so
And this guy is gay.
And this
That's
guy
one.
is gay.
So it was a good day to curl up inside, and if it's a good day to curl up inside, it's a good day to play video games. It's a good day to play video games. It's a good day to hop on and play video games with y'all.
The big takeaway for me this holiday season is I did not have the same level Christmas I did last year. Last year hit like a childhood level of Christmas apex. But what I had this year in my heart was a sense of joy that is so rare. I maybe didn't feel like this was Christmas, but I felt loved. This maybe didn't feel like the biggest holiday season, but it felt like a safe time. And that is really the dream. I'm going to go take a little time to play some Gotham Knights and just go be Damian Wayne and punch some people to death, which frankly is the actual dream.
Do it.
During which I recommend we watch perhaps a very merry little amount of Batman.
Oh, well, can we watch that tomorrow? Can we watch Merry Christmas, Mrs. Moskovitz tonight?
Yeah, of course. We're going to shoot sitcoms tonight. We got plenty of stuff in store. I think something this holiday season reminded me of most of all is a lot of the holiday season is the work that you put into it yourself. I regret not putting up our tinsel decorations until this week because I think that it makes the rooms look so cute and festive. There's only so much you can do sometimes. The real world continues to exist even when the holiday season exists. And with a lot of the political junk, this last month and a half has been really crazy and really tough. And, I think that contributed as well. But it's about what you put into it. And so, exactly, we're going to go watch some Frasier. I might put on Friends or two. We'll probably watch the Golden Girls and then Golden Palace Christmases. And it's about doing what helps make you feel the season.
Well, I just want to say thank you to everybody who made my season so bright. It is certainly not about the material things. If you're asking me for the best non-material gift I got this year, it was TK coming down. That was like I was so annoying about it. Rich was occasionally just staring at how big my smile was and being like, "Oh my god, his face is gonna break." It was the best, but I got some unbelievable, thoughtful things that match the things that I love. While we were on air, Hot Older Boyfriend hung my copy of Deeper Dive Live up on the wall, so that was an unbelievable thing from TK. Rich got me the most unbelievable Daredevil Funko Pop. It is a recreation of the Joe Quesada Daredevil Volume 2 #1 Marvel Knights limited cover. And it's got the etching of the shadow work on it. It's so good. It's so clever. It is why Joe Quesada became an editor-in-chief. I mean, I talk so much about this man being such a weirdo, but like his art is so unparalleled. And Kevo got me a Golden Book version of my favorite episode of the Golden Girls. So I'm going to read that and watch some Merry Christmas, Mrs. Moskovitz, which is my favorite Frasier Christmas episode, hanging out with Daredevil and playing some Batman games and some Marvel games and thinking about how much I love my family and how very lucky I am that this has been my year, all things considered.
Yeah.
All right. Hold on. I do have one request.
What?
Rich did ask that I open something on air.
Oh God, is it going to be the assless chaps?
I don't think it's going to be assless chaps, but we're going to find out what it is together. He's right in the room. Rich, can you just shout? Oh, he shouted. I'm sorry. He whispered, "I'm not here." So, okay, hold on. I'm ripping the paper, you guys. You can see I'm ripping paper.
Was he mad that you weren't ripping it hard enough?
It is labeled Nick Xmas.
Nick Smith.
So
Nick
it is
Smith. Nick Smith.
Stop now. Oh, I hang this on the wall, he says. Because he spoke. Wait, hold on. Okay, ready?
What dumb thing did he do?
It's apt and charming, actually. It's your gasp
very
says it
cool.
all.
Wow, that's the dumb thing he did. Wow.
So there are very few people in this world who are Walt Disney's or Gene Kelly's and are the single master of their medium.
Legends are hard to come by these days. And losing Stan the man was a big thing. Gosh, and when he went right before Endgame, couldn't have planned it better.
Well, I am so glad that Stan the man, Stanley Leibowitz, chose to join us for Stanley Lieber. No, I'm sorry, because Witz was one of the other names. So for those of you who don't know, Marvel was founded by 3 young Jewish gentlemen who were afraid that their names would hold them back. So they all adapted to names that they felt would be a little bit easier to sell and changed their names and became very proud comic book creators, even if it meant hiding their heritage. And Stanley Lieber was Stan Lee's original name. And what a cool guy. What a great way to add that on this wonderful first night of Hanukkah. KEVO, where can everybody find you on the interwebs?
You can find me on the interwebs at Kevo Really. That's KEVORELY. That come out right? It's Christmas.
TK.
You can find me at TK Elemental, Nico.
NICO Action, NICOACTION, NICO Action Music, NICOACTIONMUSIC. You guys can check me out hanging out with Stan Lee and Daredevil all over this amazing channel, HTML. X is for podcast, X is for show, and more. 3 things you guys can do for us: like, comment, and subscribe. It helps our buddy Algorithm. Albert's a real tricky dude. 3 things you guys can do for yourselves, though. Number 1, please stay safe. It's a crazy world out there. Number 2, please be brave. We want to see you guys thrive in this crazy, crazy situation. But number 3, you guys can evolve daily. Who you were yesterday, we love it. Who you are today, it's the dream. But who you are tomorrow, that's what we're here for. So until then, stay merry, stay happy, celebrate Christmas, celebrate Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, and more this Yule. And we'll see you.
Happy holidays.